Hi, this is an exam revision video to help students with Cutting Edge Elementary Unit 6. In this unit, you studied the grammar there is and there are, some and any, and how much and how many. The vocabulary was food, countable and uncountable nouns, and food pairs. So like the other videos, I will just give a short review of each of these grammar and vocabulary points. So food, countable and uncountable nouns. Here are two examples. Apple, rice. Which one is possible to count? Well, an apple is one you can count. Rice is one you can't count. Here we have 2 apples. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. For rice, you can't count. It's very difficult to count each piece of rice. Rice is just uncountable. Now this is important in English because it changes the words we use with countable, with the noun. You can have apples, 4 apples. Rices, you can't have. There's not more than one rice. There's just rice. It's an uncountable noun. So here are other examples of countable nouns. Banana, a biscuit, an egg. Some more. A grape, a sandwich, a tomato. So this was just a few examples. There's obviously many more. They're using food as the example, but try to remember the spellings of these. Biscuit is a difficult one because it has a U in it. It's a French word. Then uncountable nouns. We have rice, can't count it. Here's some more. Bread, cheese, chicken. A few more. Fruit, olive oil, orange juice, water. So these are the examples in the book for uncountable nouns. Now some of them you might think, why are they uncountable? Just accept that they are. Like chicken, for example. You see the chicken, but when it's food, it's uncountable. When it's an animal, you can have more than one chicken, 2 chickens. So this is countable and uncountable. Now this links with grammar. For example, there is and there are, and some and any. The picture I'm going to use are things you take for traveling, for holidays. So let's go back to countable, uncountable. Countable. Do you have a phone? Do you have the passports? So these are things we can count. We can use it as one thing or 2 things, plural. Plural is more than one. Uncountable. The best example here is the money. Do you have money? Do you have monies? We cannot say monies. I know you have 1 note, 2 notes, 50 dirham, but that's the dirham and the note you're counting. But money is not countable. There's no plural, there's no S. So let's look at there is and there are. So we have singular, the phone, plural, the passports, uncountable, money. In positive, negative question, there is a phone. There isn't a phone. Is there a phone? So notice that we swap the is and the there around for the question. Plural, let's use the passports. There are 2 passports. There aren't 2 passports. Are there 2 passports? So for this one is there is. For plural, there are. And again, for the questions, we swap them round. Uncountable, we use there is. There are is plural. There is no plural for uncountable. So there is money, there isn't money, is there money? So this is there is and there are for countable singular, countable plural, uncountable uses the same as the singular. Now, some and any are words we use when we don't know the exact number of something. So you don't really want to say the exact amount. We use this for plural and uncountable, and we use it for positive sentences. There are some passports. 2, 3, I don't know. There is some money. So we have there are some passports, there is some money. It's a positive sentence. We can see this in the picture. You can also use a lot of. It's very similar to some, but it's more. Some is a little amount, a lot of, a big amount. There is a lot of money. Let's look at any. Any we use for negative and questions. So when it's not, no or zero amount, and we use it for plural and uncountable as well. There aren't any books. There are no books on this table. There isn't any time. Time, surprisingly, is not countable. You can count seconds and minutes and days, but you can't count time. Questions. Are there any sunglasses? Yes, there are. Is there any money? Yes, there is. Do you need some help? Now notice the difference here. We're using some in the question. Do you need any help is fine. But when you're offering something, when you want to give something to someone, you can use the word some. Do you need some fruit? Do you need some drink? It's a nice way to ask someone if they need something. So this is some for positives, any for negatives and questions. Okay, so that was there is, there are, some and any. A quick step into food pairs now. So a lot of food, you can say what you see if you know the word, but sometimes a food comes together. Pair is two things. Things just go together. In this picture we have some examples in Britain, in England, of things that go together. So your country might have different things. The food you like, whether it's Italian, Japanese, whatever, it might have different food pairs, but here are the examples from the book. So we have bread and butter. You can say butter and bread, but it just sounds a bit strange. You should say them in the correct order, bread and butter. Fish and chips. Food and drink. 3 more. Fruit and vegetables. Herbs and spices. Knife and fork. So in this one we have some difficult spelling. Fruit is difficult, U-I-T. Vegetables. We have an extra E here that some people don't often write. Vegetables. Herbs has an H. Knife has a K that does nothing in the sentence. So you need to remember to spell these words correctly. 3 more. Salt and pepper, although the picture has them the other way around. Salt is the white one. Sweet and sour. Difficult to find a picture, but Chinese food often has a sweet thing that's honey or sugar flavour, and sour that's a bit more salty on the back of the tongue. And then tea and coffee. Easy ones here. So these are food pairs. Try to remember the order that they go, remember the spelling, and remember how to say them. And I need to move on quickly because this is making me hungry. So let's now look at how much and how many. Here we have a picture of a lady looking in the fridge. That will be me in a couple of minutes. And the questions how much and how many. We use how much and how many to ask a question about the quantity, the number of something you have. So she's looking in the fridge and she needs to know, do I have this, this, this to cook food? How many? We use how many for questions with a countable plural noun. So things we can count. Onions we can count. Like apples, we can count onions. How many onions do you have? How many onions do you have? Eggs and vegetables you can count. How many eggs do you have? How many vegetables do you have? So how many is when it's countable. How much is when it's uncountable. So when the noun is uncountable, like rice, how much rice do you have? Chicken and fruit are uncountable. How much chicken do you have? How much fruit do you have? So this is how many and how much. How many for countable, how much for uncountable. Just a little extra. When we talk about price, the money you pay for something, this is how much for price. And it doesn't matter what you are talking about because price is money and money is uncountable. So we use how much. How much does it cost? How much do the onions cost? How much does the rice cost? Because we're asking cost, the price, we use how much. Okay, so this is how much and how many. In this unit, we studied there is, there are, some and any, how much and how many, and the vocabulary was food, the countable and uncountable nouns, and food pairs. So this sort of language will be very important for describing things so that you can accurately use the correct grammar, and the words some and any appear all the way through the rest of your English study. So you need to get this firmly in your head now. Okay, good luck.